Hey guys, March 28th here, and in this video what I want to discuss with you is a very important topic for every single person to understand, and that is fake science. Beware the false gods, right? And that includes the science gods. Now, much of the science that we are taught in our typical education indoctrination institutions is straight up bullshit. And pick a subject, any subject you want, right? That could be vaccine research, that could be GMO research, that could be global warming, or even archaeology and human history. And then one of my favorite subjects that we are absolutely BS'd over is physics, quantum physics research, right? Electromagnetic theory. And this delves into all of the Tesla research and yada yada. My point being is that you can pick any single subject you want, there is some fraudulent, quite literally lies put out about it. Now, the inspiration for this video comes from this article that I just came across that was released today on Russia Today, and it literally says, as you can see by the headline, top British universities found producing fake research. So fake science is not fake news, folks. It's very real news. And this says, hundreds of allegations of fake research conducted at some of the UK's top universities were reported basically within the last 5 years. So they found, according to figures released by 23 of Britain's 24 Russell Group universities, following Freedom of Information requests, the scale of fraudulent research is much higher, about 10 times higher than they originally believed. And what I'm saying to you in this video is this is completely commonplace, and this is something that a lot of people don't get. They don't realize that science is complete BS in this day and age, and they're believing a lot of these lies, and they have a very tough time distancing themselves from that, okay? College in this day and age is not an education institution, it's an indoctrination system. They tell people, whether it's medical doctors or physicists, yada yada, they tell these people that they're the best and brightest of the bunch and make them pay tens of thousands of dollars to get this education, so it strengthens the person's or the student's ego so much. They believe themselves to be know-it-alls, literally, and since they paid so much money to believe themselves to be know-it-alls, they don't want to change their mind. Scientists and doctors and people who are university trained are some of the least likely people on this planet to change their freaking mind, because their ego, they're so ingrained into their worldview that they have so much writing on this. They have literally their livelihoods writing on them believing the lies. They don't want to change. So we have to change. We have to understand that a lot of this science that is given to us is BS. And right? I mean, this just makes me think to, add a political view to this. A lot of people are giving the Trump administration shit for wanting to dismantle the EPA and being anti-science when you look at the absolute cesspool that a lot of these three-letter agencies are. For instance, the EPA, their skullduggery with Monsanto, the FDA, same thing, their skullduggery with the pharmaceutical companies, the CDC, you can keep going down the list of whatever three-letter agency you want. It's not anti-science, it's anti-corruption that the Trump administration is, it looks like that they're trying to address and attack. And the whole science versus religion debacle is one of those divide and conquer dualities that have been very effective for the powers that be to completely rape our minds with. And whether you believe, and I'm not talking about, when I mean science versus religion, I mean fundamentalist religion versus fundamentalist science. And people will gravitate into one of those two fields and not realize that they're both completely wrong. And it's only when you really merge the two, and you look at the science of spirit, per se, is where the answers are found. But of course, those answers aren't taught in the conventional mainstream wisdom. So this is why I'm doing this video, is because we need to address the fact that science is false. And many people need to realize that they're not praying to science. They're not believing science, they're believing scientists, right? Big difference. Science is objective. Science is simply observing what's going on and looking at that data and extrapolating theories and ideas about what the heck's going on here. A lot of people believe in scientists. They don't believe in true science. They simply look at the people who have already said the BS things and follow along with that. So there needs to be a distinguishment between the two and a realization that scientists are human just as much as we are. They lie. They don't admit they're wrong. They create fraudulent research and put this stuff out there for their own financial and power gains. So I'm going to end this video with two more quotes here that I'll put up some screenshots of. One is a literal quote by the editor of The Lancet and Dr. Richard Horton, and he says, "The case against science is straightforward. Much of the science literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue." Okay? Huge revelation. And another quote by a longtime editor-in-chief of the New England Medical Journal, Dr. Marcia Angel, she says, "It's simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that is published." And the reason I'm showing you these two quotes is because not only are they great knowledge nuggets for you, but you can use these two instances of people admitting that science is falsified in the research institutions for awakening your own friends and family. These are just great knowledge nuggets to plant the seeds of consciousness in other people's minds with. Never underestimate planting those seeds. And it must be noted that, I'm going back to this Russia Today article here. It says, "It is thought that the inaccuracy and sloppiness in academic papers is due to researchers rushing through their copies in order to get grants to carry on their work." So like I said, the researchers are human. And a lot of these humans don't want to realize that they've been duped by the upper echelons and powers that be. So we must realize this. We must get back to real science, understand what real science is, and exit our minds from that matrix and begin to think for ourselves and formulate our own opinions. So do that for me. Do that for everybody. And let's get back to the real science here so we can begin to figuring out what the heck is going on here. Done.